It has come to my attention over the last couple of weeks about how lonely people are and how much they struggle with this thing called loneliness. So I wanted to do a series about loneliness, and this is the first one, and it's about emotional loneliness. Emotional loneliness is a soul sickness, and it comes from the fact that you feel disconnected from yourself and from others. It's the one that was most talked about. That you're around a lot of people, but you still feel alone. It's like walking into a room, there's all these people at this event you were going to go to, and you feel lonely. It's laying in the bed next to your spouse and feeling lonely. And like I said before, loneliness is not being alone. Loneliness comes from disconnect. And man, in my profession, I have seen a huge increase in dealing with depression and anxiety since 2020. And I think trauma often creates this emotional loneliness because you do things to survive, and so you don't connect with yourself or grow emotionally. And that tends to cause this loneliness. So if you're lonely, keep watching. I have some things I want to talk about because awareness is the first key. Do you wear a mask? Do you pretend to act like the way you think other people would want you to act? Do you people please? Do you know what you want, what you like, what you don't like? Do you know yourself? If you don't, there's a disconnect. Maybe you had trauma and you never grew emotionally because you were busy surviving. And just because you grow up and become an adult doesn't mean that you grow emotionally. Emotional growth takes intentional work on improving yourself, knowing what emotion you're feeling. So this disconnect is a lack of the ability to be vulnerable, to be intimate in a relationship. Often you don't want to share intimately because you've got this past of where people have hurt you before, and you get to where you don't trust people. So it's easier to put the mask on and to live that way and just, I'm fine. We joke with my friends. We carry on. I'm fine. Well, fine stands for frantic, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. And there are a lot of people like that today because we all went through a traumatic experience in 2020. Globally, we all know it. It's like the hidden elephant everywhere. And we need to talk about it, how it made us feel, and the disconnect. Often this disconnect, it's so much easier. And I'm not saying you have to share everything, but, you do need to talk about it. You're only as sick as your secrets. You keep those secrets inside, and they just sit there. I had a long time secret that I was 34 years old before I told somebody. Never told anybody. And I told one person because she had the ability to be vulnerable and share her stuff. And I felt safe enough to share mine, which opened the door for my recovery. A lot of times you feel misunderstood, you don't feel seen, but it's because you're hiding behind the mask. It's a masquerade. I thought I was unlovable. And if I showed my true self, that people would not love me. And I craved people loving me and respecting me. And when I began to change, I learned to set boundaries. This provides respect for self. I learned to know what I liked and what I didn't like, and to voice that. No, I don't like, those fancy pumpkin spice lattes, and everybody in my group was getting one. No, I'll get the, mocha latte, caramel mocha latte. And you don't think about that being that hard. But if you don't have emotional maturity, then you cannot grasp that. I was really astounded by some statistics that I looked up while I was doing some research on this video. In 2019, most people reported anxiety, and it was 8.1%. It has increased to 12% today. 6.5% reported depression. This has rose to 13% of people deal with depression today. And 10.8% had reported that they feel lonely. Today, it is topping off at 22 to 25%. Suicide rates are up. The largest increase of suicide rates is women over 75. It jumped let me see, let me find it. Increased by 10.9% in women over 75. What happened in 2020 disconnected a lot of us. And so what do you do to overcome this? You connect with others by being intimate. Now, intimacy is not sexual or physical. Intimacy is when you know yourself and you are in a safe relationship to share that with someone else. I like to think of intimacy is into me I see. And I share that with you. If you're wearing a mask, if you're going around saying I'm fine, you are trapped in your own prison. I'm not saying that you don't do this at times or that there's certain things that you don't share. In certain groups, you don't talk about certain things. But I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and to connect with one person. If you're emotionally immature, I sure was. I remember sitting in a psychology class, going through the stages of age groups, and they were reading about, children that were 11, 12, 13, oversensitive, egocentric, those type of things. And I'd been in recovery long enough to realize that that's where I'm at emotionally. I could be responsible for everybody. I felt responsible for people's feelings and behavior, and yet I couldn't be responsible for my own emotional well-being. And I learned to go to God for that. Plug into God for my emotional well-being. I developed that, and I got to where I could share that with someone else. And I learned who was trustworthy and who wasn't. I had to trust myself enough to know who was trustworthy. Now, I've connected with a lot of you on here. There's several content creators on YouTube that I've become friends with. And I want to talk about a couple of those today. Cynthia at Senior Insights did this video, and she had on this nice little plaid shirt, and I thought, I have a shirt just like that. And then she talked about that Debbie over at Kentucky Life with Debbie wanted her to send her the shirt so she could wear it for a while and do videos and then send it back, and the traveling shirt. So I wanted to do this video today in this shirt because, Cynthia, you're not the only one with a nice shirt. And Debbie, you're just going to have to pray about that envy because you don't have a shirt like this. But the connection with those people, with both of those ladies, has been phenomenal. There's other people on here. I have a list of people that I have connected with and that I've shared myself with beyond what I share here on my channel. So, you start with one honest conversation with someone, maybe yourself, an honest conversation. There's some work you need to do. Be around people who don't drain you. You have to find the people that are going to support you and love you no matter what, unconditionally. Now, as a human, we can't unconditionally love like God loves us, but we can do our best to not judge others or to throw out our opinions and try to fix them. I can stay in my own lane. Let yourself feel something small today. What do you feel? There's underlying feelings to the loneliness. I feel not unseen. I feel misunderstood. I feel that it's just too much. I'm too much. I'm not enough. All of those things that the chatterbox will tell us. That chatterbox is alive and well in my head, and I have to keep it at bay. Becoming real, that being you on purpose, can be a process. And when I think about what is real, well, I think about the Velveteen Rabbit. And the rabbit asked the horse, who was already real, how do you become real? And the horse, told him that he had to be loved by a child when he's truly loved by a child. But, see, the horse was all shabby and worn, to shreds. But that was because somebody loved him. And he tells the rabbit that to be real, because the rabbit asked him, does it happen all at once? And the horse says, it doesn't happen all at once. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily or have sharp edges or who have been carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all. Because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. I think love makes us real. I had people who loved me till I could love myself. And as that happened, I began to share who I was and gradually become who I was all along. She's in there. She's just covered up with this. So, the most terrifying thing you may do in self-improvement is get rid of the mask. Stop saying you're fine. I don't say that anymore. I say, I'm okay. I'm struggling a little today, but I'm blessed. It's a great day. I'm having a great day, but I don't say fine anymore. Fine is what I used to be. Frantic, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Today, I hope that I would be emotionally mature so that I could share intimately with another human. Being me on purpose is my priority. To just, no matter where I go, just be me. And I have gotten all the things that I wanted: respect, love, friends, a community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and to listening to me. And I hope you'll come back next time for my next video. I will be doing more about loneliness. Be you on purpose.